this officer Tulsiani. They're like, whoa, and then she's talking.
I think it was Italian. Hello, my darlings. We're live here on the Magenta show, and I've got the fabulous guest here today, Sunil Tulsiani. Welcome, darling. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Moira. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're kind of just talking about surnames and yeah, and Tulsiani sounds quite richly Italian. Yes. Okay, so we were having an Italian conversation. So for those of you who are just tuning in, I want to say thank you so much if you're a first-time viewer, and just to give you the run of the land here, or the lay of the land as they call it, you'll see in front of me here I've got 3 empty little glass bottles, and I want you to feel if you are drawn to number 1, number 2, or number 3, and whichever one you're drawn to, pop it into a comments box for me, and then we're going to go back and have a look at your pick. At the end of the show, when I'm finished chatting to the fabulous Sunil over here, we're going to come back and reveal to you which colors from this wonderful display of colors behind us you have chosen, and give you a little color message of the week, a little bit of color guidance, a little bit of advice, and we got some nice picks this week. Myself, Sunil, and Michael, the producer, have each picked a bottle. Okay.
All right.
Right. So let's do the show. So first of all, Sunil, you're so welcome. We specially arranged today's broadcast for you because Cora, God bless her, Cora, you don't say no when Cora Christabel says, can you interview Sunil? We went, Cora, we booked up till 2020, and we normally do a show on Mondays. So here we are on a Tuesday. You can't say no to Cora.
Thank you for making the exception.
No, it's fantastic. I saw you and Cora when you did the event where you hosted Jack Canfield.
Yes.
And I have to say I was very impressed with your presence on stage.
Thank you.
You spoke clearly, eloquently, and the whole room when you spoke was in a dead hush, hanging on every word you spoke.
Thank you.
Did public speaking come easy to you?
No. I mean, it came easy eventually, but I was a shy guy. I would melt if you had asked me to get up on the stage or in front of school or classroom for like 30 seconds. I wouldn't be able to do it. So all my life I had this issue about not being able to speak on stages, whether it's 5 people or 10 people, or even a meeting, even if there's board meeting or so. I would just be the guy sitting in the back and saying, I don't, let everybody talk about it. And if I have a question, I'll wait for everyone to finish. Then I will quietly go to the person and say, hey, I have a question. Yeah. And
did you do some training to get over it, or was it something you just developed?
Well, what happened was when I left the police force, I bought and sold 77 properties. And people kept saying, you should go and do something. So I had a group of people that I helped make money in real estate. And they said, we should open up a real estate club. And I said, what's a real estate club? And they go, well, it's a place people meet and then train and all that stuff. I said, okay, so who's going to train them? They go, you. I said, me? I said, no way. So I kept fighting for it. And one day I said, yes, I'll do it. And so I opened a private investment club. And then that day I was nervous, scared. I remember 100 people or more than 100 people in the room. And I'm sitting there shaking. I was hoping a tornado would come by and end the whole thing. I was looking for reasons why this would not go through. And I remember going up on the stage and shaking as I walked up. My hands were sweaty, my heart was pounding. And as soon as I turned around to the audience, all I did was just talked about how to make money in real estate, which I knew. So I didn't have any notes, I had nothing like that. And that day, I figured out I'm a public speaker. I just didn't, it almost seemed like a day that changed my life completely. So from that point of view, I had no training in public speaking. I didn't know anything about NLP, starting, intro, meet, content. I just got up and spoke about it. And it went really, really well.
And do you still do that where you don't have a script, you can just turn up, or do you like to have a script?
So today I would have an agenda. I would have not a script, but an agenda. A script would be like word to word. I can't. Even if you hear me speak at the same thing about, let's say if I'm talking about how to sell books. Well, if I speak here today and then tomorrow he speaks somewhere else,
it would be different.
It would be slightly different. The stories would be different. The audience will give me a different feedback. I would answer differently. But the content would be similar, but it's not scripted.
But that's great, because you need to leave that because what I think one of the things that petrifies me the most if TEDx asked me to do a talk, because that knowing everything script word by word would freak me out. I prefer to feel the audience as well, and allow a bit of that energy to come in, and then you respond to it, and that's what makes a great speaker. And I think that's that room was totally dead hushed when you spoke. I was actually sitting right at the back. And to get real feel of the event, I sat there through the whole event. I was at the back watching, because I had a lot of friends and previous wonderful guests that have been on the show that actually were speakers on stage with you guys. And I'm just I have a secret crush on Jack Canfield, so all my audience know that already. So with my husband's permission. So anyway, he talks, I'm there. But before we carry on, let's just have a quick look and see who's actually joined us here. So, is there anybody there? Oh, Dr. Stacey. Yes, she was a guest on our show. Hello,
hey, Dr. Stacey. How you doing?
How you doing?
Wow.
And we've got Aurelia is from Denmark. She's a regular. She is honestly our number one fan for the show. She's
Perfect.
in Denmark,
Hi,
an artist, an amazing talented lady. Gloria, Juliet, Francis. Hello. Nice that you can catch us live, Juliet. And Marie Christine Perez joined. Michael's just scrolling up. Nirma. Nirma Bikari. I hope I've spelled that, pronounced that correctly.
I can pronounce it. If you go back, Nirma Bikari.
Bikari. Oh, nice, Sunil.
Yo.
And Jay has joined us.
Hey, Jay.
Anna Pina, Marja, Marion. Oh my goodness, look at these people joining in. This is
Lauren,
just amazing.
Helen.
We love you guys. Thank you so much.
If
you joined in for the first time, because I see some lovely new faces and names there. Feel if you're drawn to number 1, 2, or 3 of these little empty bottles we have here, because at the end of the show I'm going to tell you what colors are actually hidden in them and give you a little color message. So when you know if you're 1, 2, or 3, pop it in the comments box. We want to know. All right.
Oh, Nirma Bikari is correct. Look at that.
That's correct. She
awesome.
said so. Excellent. Oh, Melissa has just joined us from South Africa.
Hey, Melissa.
Sunil, Melissa is the lady who actually makes these color bottles. I've been in business with her since 2004.
That's awesome. Hi, Melissa.
Yeah. Nice that you can join us. That's wonderful. Okay, so Sunil and I have been chatting here. For those of you who have just joined in, we've been chatting about him becoming a public speaker, because we were at I watched him at an event where the whole room, you could drop a pin and there wasn't a sound, and there were over 500 people in that room, and they were just hanging on every word you said. And how you do it, leaving that gap so you can feel and respond to the audience. I really like that. If you didn't watch that piece, please watch back later on and see the recording. You're going to be speaking at another event coming up, and I'm going to be there on stage. So I've got to tell you, when I first started speaking on stage, and that was through theatre, I used to be like this, and the water used to jump out. I could never hold a glass of... If I was given a prop with liquid on stage, I used to panic, because then everybody could see the hand shake. And I've also had to learn, I've gone through various courses, and I've had to learn to become authentically present, and it's been a process. The color mirror system has been amazing. But we're going to be at an event that's, we're both speaking at Raymond Harlal's event, The Power of Collaboration. That's 19th and 20th of July. What are you going to talk about at this event?
Well, we're still working on it, but what I'm going to be talking about is how do you build your business and your brand where you attract paying clients to you. Yeah. One of the biggest things that I teach about business or real estate is that if you have no monetization model, if you do not have paying clients, you have no business.
That's right.
At all.
That's right.
And what I found is a lot of people have good intentions. They have consulting businesses, they have teaching business, they're speakers, authors, service-oriented business, but they're deep down at the end of the day, they don't have a thriving business. They act as if they do, but they don't.
But they don't. I know. I see it all the time since I've been in Canada. I'm very aware of it. So you're going to give us some advice. So, guys, if you're interested in it, as soon as we have links to the event and how you can get tickets, we will be sharing it on the timeline, Facebooks, and through the groups. But if you want to see Sunil and I live on stage.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
I'm going to be selling from stage. I'm way out of my comfort zone, but I'd say yes to opportunities that present themselves. So I couldn't say no to Raymond Harlal.
Hey Raymond.
Raymond, we love you.
Hope you should come by.
So Sunil, I have got a group, a mentoring group that I am nurturing right now to create a collaborative book. It's a beautiful book. It's going to be full color. It's going to be with beautiful photographs. It's going to be coffee size table. So it's going to be really lovely. It's a year long, just over a year long project that we are doing. My concern for my group is that we're going to end up with a book that's going to be very beautiful and pretty, and it's going to be, hours in a book, but nothing else.
Yes.
And I find that this seems to happen a lot to people I interview on the show. They have books, but they have nothing else associated with it.
That's right.
So I want your expert advice. And group, I hope you're all tuning in or watching the replay, because this question is for you to get an answer.
Yes. Actually, everyone, if you're thinking about writing a book, you're halfway writing a book, or if you already published a book, this is very, very important, because what I found is 95% of the authors on the planet, they pour all their heart, their soul, their time, their money into it, and then they sell less than 200 copies of their books.
Wow.
It's sad. That's the highest level, 200 copies in their lifetime. And they also do not know how to monetize it. And so what I suggest is actually when they are writing, I'm assuming a chapter in your book, what you do is you basically do an exercise. An exercise is, I am going to teach people who are vegetarians to eat this kind of food only. Okay. What people do is they write their book and then they try to market the book. What I'm suggesting is to reverse engineer this, which is this. You go to Google and figure out, is there a market? Number one. Number two, are they going to consume? Do they need what you have? Number three, you do all your marketing based on the reverse engineering.
Engineering.
So you say, okay, I want people to get this results. Okay, I want them to be eating healthy. Okay, so you Google it, and they go in the Google. There's going to show you, 1 million people have Googled it. You could actually do a term search and figure out how many people are searching for that same term. And now you have an audience.
Yeah.
Then you reverse engineer. Hey, my water is very important. Okay, and you there are 7 things about the salt water, not that water, but this water only. Okay, and then you explain the 7 things from to say to yourself, I want to be able to serve the world by giving this water only to the clients that want it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come back after you do your research and all that stuff. That's when you come back and write your book. Not the other way around.
Not the other way around.
No.
Okay, I feel a team meeting coming up, guys. We've got 12 authors on this program.
Yes.
And we with the possibility of 2 more joining the program. So I think we're going to have a little chat.
Well, another thing is, as you know, we're having a 2-day event. And the title is How to Build a Multi-million-dollar Business Using Your Book.
Using your book. How to build a multi-million-dollar business using your book. Okay, you're going to give details here, because this could be something that we could all be going to. The team, watch
Absolutely.
out. Make a note.
Absolutely.
So when is it?
It's on June 1st, June 2nd, and I'm doing it for the very first time ever. Because after I left the police force and I went into real estate, from then I went into many different businesses, consulting, speaking, marketing, and all that kind of stuff. And how did I build a business of multi-million-dollar businesses? And most of it, I used a book as a launch pad, as way of doing it. And I've never shared it before. And so I had clients who paid huge amount of money to become top authors, number 1 best-selling authors, who want to have businesses that make lots of money. And it is those clients that said to me, Sunil, I want to write a book, and I don't know how to do it, or I want to have a legend endorse a book, like Brian Tracy, like Kevin Harrington, like Robert Allen. These are on the planet. These are legends that anywhere you go on the planet, and if they're in business, people will know about it. And now your book has more value to do that stuff. So those are the people who came to me and said, now that we have a book, what do we do?
What do you do?
What do you do next?
Yeah.
Okay, so all that. So my focus was them. And so what I did was I now opened it up to other people. So I have by live video call, I have Brian Tracy coming. right? Brian Tracy.
Yeah. You co-wrote a book with Brian.
Yeah.
Secret to Wealth.
And I have Robert Allen, who sold $1 billion worth of stuff. Okay, and I have Kevin Harrington for Shark Tank, who utilized this book to grow his business. A lot of people don't know that Robert Allen was unknown until he wrote a book called Nothing Down.
Nothing Down.
Nothing Down. It became the most popular #1 New York best-selling book.
It's such a brilliant title.
It is amazing.
It's a brilliant title.
Yeah. And his entire business was launched on that book. Wow. And so I'm going to get him to say, how do you do it?
How do you do it?
Yeah. I'm going to get Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, who's a billionaire investor. How did you use your book?
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to get Brian Tracy, who wrote over 70 books, best-selling books and products. He's going to come out. And all of these people, I have their cell numbers. I'm good friends with them. So for me to just say, I need you to do me a favor. Come by to my event and tell people how did you do it. So this is an event not about how to write a book.
Yeah.
It's not an event about...
It's if you have a book and you're sitting at your 200 max that you've sold and you haven't yet monetized, you haven't yet got that $1 million business. Yeah.
Yes. Not only the people who have written a book, but here's a caveat.
Yeah.
If you have not finished your book,
you
got to be there. Why? Because you want to reverse engineer.
Reverse engineer.
Actually, I don't want to say this, but the truth is people who are thinking about writing a book or they're halfway writing the book, they will benefit more.
Got it? Okay, guys, I hope you heard that.
They'll benefit more because they're going to go, so we just gave one tip.
Yeah.
I just gave one tip. Yeah. You're going to get there, you're going to have a multi-million-dollar ideas and then how to implement them on the spot. Like, how do you do that? Yeah. I'm going to give you that.
Is it possible that somebody can come just for one day?
No.
You need them there 2 days.
I need them for both days because it's just the way the system is set up, the program is set up. Because you will get some of it and you're going to run, and then you may do but then the next day is the completion.
I also like that you got a variety of experts and people who speak from experience, because it means that you're not going away with one blueprint that says this is how you do it. You can look at different ones and feel the approach you want to take.
Now, the issue with that is that if people are only coming for one day and they've asked me, can I come on day 1? Or the other person says, I can only come on day 2. So we've told them no, because it's a 2-day event. So I give you a strategy today, and then you get another strategy later on, and then on the next day that strategy has a third strategy, and they all have to work together.
They work together,
to do that. Now you may get a tip and run out and do it, but I'm looking for people who are going to say, I'm going to devote 2 days of my time, because Sunil is spending 2 days. We're going to be downtown Marriott, Eaton Center, and the idea here is, how do I build a multi-million-dollar business using my book? Now, this is something that no one on the planet is teaching.
I know. It's astonishing, because I did a book program, which was really great. But if, like myself, you've written a book out there, darlings, you're busy writing a book, you're not yet completed your book, this is an event that you don't want to miss with Sunil. It's on the 1st and the 2nd. And you are going to hear from experts how to actually monetize and how to break that ceiling of selling more than 200 books. And I know this because I've watched so many of my friends and even guests that we've had on the show who've been super, super excited about their books. And they launch and they have the party and they have the woo-ha, and then 3 months later, woof, there's nothing. And then 2 years later, when you speak to them, hey, they've still got the book, they've only ever sold so many, and they stuck. So this is important. This is that part, that's that gap that is missing between why a book can brand you and create a business and how you can actually make your first million. So absolutely. I think that link that's missing, that is what's going to be at this event.
Absolutely. And the big thing is to understand is that we have kept the price. I think we're like 70 or 75% off right now, early bird. It is not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Next weekend, yeah.
So we're
going to pop the link on the... Sorry, Sunil.
Yes.
We're going to pop the link for you. It's an Eventbrite link, so please look for it in the news feed. We're going to pop it on after the show so you can get that 75% early bird offer.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And if you... there's 2 of them. One is general, one is VIP. It doesn't matter which one they buy.
Just get there.
If you're the type of person that wants to network and have lunch lunch with me, breakfast with me, and some of the VIP, then buy the VIP one. It's 2 days. Or if you just want to come and learn, and that's okay too, and you can come for that.
Tara Garrity Ellis has just said, how do you promote your book? She actually wrote a book,
yes.
and she's one of the people I'm speaking about. She wrote a fabulous book, and it sits now. What do you do with it?
Again, Tara, one of the things that to do is that, first of all, Tara, come by. Where is she? Is she from GTA?
She's GTA.
Okay, Tara, you need to come. You need to come to that event. But to promote your book, one of the ways, I'm going to give one thing here that is, even if they don't show up at the event, that they can take away today.
Fabulous.
And which answers Tara's question. And that is this. How do you sell 10,000 copies? This is going to be one of the sessions that we're going to have during the 2-day event. And one of the ways to do 10,000 copies is actually to find center of influences. And this is how I sold over 100,000 copies of my books.
Find centers of influences.
So let's say you and I knew each other. You know, I have a big following. I own one of the largest real estate club in North America, and I know a lot of people that would be benefiting from your work. And so what I did was I found center of influence which were complementary to the work that I'm doing. So for example, if you are a management company, property management company, and I'm a real estate investor, I said to myself, there's no competition per se from their point of view. So then I went to them and I figured out, what would it take for you to buy my books in bulk?
Yes.
So then you give it to every renter, every person that comes through your door. To help you do that. So what I did was I sold those books in bulk to those people, and then they went out and then gave those books to their clients, then who in turn came in contact with me. So I did something very special, which I'm going to share with you in 2 days. There was something I did when I gave, let's say Moira gets a book, and she does, she gives it to people or sells it for me. I did something in the book. Then those people then would come around and say thank you to her, but then they also would come around and say, I wonder, what do you do? Okay, maybe I can hire you. Maybe I can work with you. Because I have a consulting firm right now. And I went, before I started books, I used to charge $5,000 for a mentoring program. So today my mentoring program starts at $40 and goes up to $200,000. In my wildest dreams in the past, I would never think that anyone would pay for it. But the thing here is you need to do things that make a difference. So whether you sell 10,000 copies to 10 people, so 1,000 copies to one person, okay? Or you sell 10,000 to 10,000 people. The point here is you cannot have your beautiful work stay in your garage. It has to be distributed. So what I did, actually, one of the things I did to build a relationship with the shark, Kevin Harrington, Shark Tank, I went to him and I knew it was important for me to build a relationship with him. So what I said to him, Kevin, can I buy 1,000 copies of your book? So I am now the center of influence that buys, like you mentioned.
You created yourself to be the center of influence.
And then when Cora had her book, I went to her and I said, how many? I said, Cora, I'll buy 200 copies of your book. And then she's like, wow, this is amazing. Some of my mentees, I said, I'm going to buy your books and I'm going to give it to the right people. They're like, wow. I remember some of the mentees that I had that I asked them, how many books have you sold? They're like, oh, maybe 30, 20, 40. And I said, sell me 100 copies of your book. They're like, what? I said, yeah, sell me 100 copies of your book. So I bought more books than they sold their entire lifetime. Okay? And then I taught them what to do with those books to do that. Because the books itself, look, if you sell 10,000 copies of your book, you make some money. If you sell 1,000 copies of your books, you'll make some money. But that's not how you build a multi-million-dollar business, which is where we're going to go through it. And Stacy keeps, Dr. Stacy Cooper says she's so excited to join us.
She's going to be there on the first.
She's absolutely going to be there.
Yeah, Dr. Stacy is a really go-getter energy, and she's saying yes to absolutely everything that lands in front of her. I love her philosophy because that's what I'd like to follow, is where new things present, say yes. So are you going to say yes and turn up on the first and the second? Okay, so please, if you haven't yet put in your choice, your color, your number choice to get a color reading, put in 1, 2, or 3. Now, before we go on to I want to offer you a reading, Sunil, but before we do that, I want you just to tell the audience that they're also going to get a little gift from you. If you want to tell them what your gift is.
Yes, so I mean, I brought these two gifts. If you do not have this book, it's called Secret to Wealth, and it's with Brian Tracy. In one of the things you're going to learn is what are the 7 steps to becoming wealthy. And when I'm talking about wealth is money, wealth is health, wealth is happiness, wealth is peace, wealth is friends and families. But in this case, my portion is about money. How do you really build the money part, whether it's $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or $1 million, whatever it is, because our goal is to make 100 millionaires for our club, and this is why I wrote the book. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to give away two of these hardcover copies of these books, and of course the first one. So we're going to give 3 away. So first one is of course for you, Moira.
Thank you.
So enjoy the book, and then two extra ones, and then the second one, if you're a real estate investor. Or in real estate and all that kind of stuff. There's an audiobook with Jack Canfield. It's called The Success Secret. In this, I talk about how I bought and sold the first year 77 properties. So this is mainly for people who are real estate agents, mortgage brokers, investors. You're thinking of getting into real estate. This is ideal.
This is ideal,
yeah. So you can have the physical copy. Yeah. And if you live anywhere around the world, anywhere around the world, just let us know and we'll figure out how to get this.
So you have all week to enter the competition, and how you enter the competition is you share.
Please.
And the people who share the show the most are the ones who win. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to share
Actually,
the show.
send some love and likes right now, please. I would appreciate
Excellent.
it. Yes.
So what I would like to do is to offer you a color reading. Now, you've never done this before.
No, but it's interesting. But it's very interesting.
It's new. It's different.
I love
it. It's different. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to look at the bottles behind you there. Think of, you can tell me what your question is, and then you're going to pick a bottle and we'll have a conversation around it. So what would you like some color guidance on, Sunil?
How do I get authors to actually know that this is probably the best thing that I'm doing on June 1st and 2nd? How do I do that? Because I find we're filling up. That's amazing. But there are a lot of authors who basically say, no, I'll just do it myself. I'll learn it myself. I'll read a book or something like that. And what I want to say to you is that how do I get authors to say, just drop everything and just say, okay, I got to be part of that.
So there's actually two bottles I'd like you to pick. I want you to pick one that feels, what is the block in getting them there? And number 2, what can you do about it? Okay. So 2 bottles for me, please, Sunil. Okay. So that's the block, and that's how to get them. Okay, pop them on the table for me here. And then you can bring your chair back and we'll have a little chat. Okay, so for those of you who are tuning into our podcast, you can't see the vision. What Sunil has done here is he has picked bottle number 23, which is indigo top and bottom, as a block. Why are authors not, in their droves looking to come to events like this? And then he's picked number 12, which is called Heaven on Earth, and the top is violet and the bottom is red. And that kind of gives us an idea of how to pull them in, the hook, right? So 23 here is, this one's actually called Initiation. And when you have a double solid color like that, it shows here that there are definite blocks that people experience that put them off going to events.
Yes.
And in Indigo says that some people need to, I'm going to just give it to you straight. Sometimes when they pick Indigo, they've literally got 2 paths open to them. One is the easy path, just turn up, say yes, and the magic's going to begin to happen. And some people that are already signing up for the event on the 1st and 2nd, that's going to happen for them. And they're going to end up finding Heaven on Earth. So this is a great event, guys. It's going to work if you go on the 1st and the 2nd. But the other path, that resistance, that's what I call the shadow voice that takes over. It's where people procrastinate, or they sabotage themselves to not turn up, or they say, I haven't got the money, I haven't got the time, I'm busy doing other things. And anybody who goes down that path, they need to suffer a little bit longer. Oh. So what I would suggest with this is that you take this event that you are doing, for those that are turning up and going to get their Heaven on Earth, they're going to find this joyful and this release from the restraints that they've had only selling 200 copies of their book, and repeat this event later on in the year, okay, or at least early next year again.
So I had planned not to do that. You had planned not to do that?
No, okay.
This is the first time I'm ever doing this event, and if I do it, it'll be like maybe far future, but not. To
me, it feels here it needs to be repeated.
Okay.
The reason is that it's when you do something new, people want to go, okay, can you prove that it works? All right. When you then can come back in a year's time and you're on the show here and you say, hey, we're running this event. And by the way, last year when people didn't sign up, this happened to this author, that author, that author. They are now well on their way to their first million. They've now found their heaven on earth. So I've decided to do it one more time. Why don't you come this time? So it feels that that it's just, it's evidence. It's that proof that you can make that magic happen.
Yes.
Because, if you think about it, if an author out there who's now only sold 200 books, they probably paid $3,000 to $5,000 for their writing program, right? You're now saying from investing $5,000, let's say, for example, in themselves, to now saying you can be a millionaire. That's a huge gap to jump. Did you get that? In somebody's, if people are locked in that poverty mindset now, or they don't believe they deserve that kind of success.
Yes.
They need to show. Can you take somebody who's only sold 200 books, and have that case study and show that they can turn it around and go, here's the proof.
Right.
I think that will be a huge turning point, and,
so we already
it will
have
be
people.
massive for you as well.
So we already have people like that who have done it, where I've coached them and they've gone. Like Cora is one of them. 3 years ago, she came to me and says, I'm an accountant and, I'm at this age. I have an accent. I'm never a speaker. And I don't know how to do it. So Cora said like, well, and should I even do it? Yeah. So she signed up for my coaching program, and now she's the founder of Toronto Women's Club, and she utilized her books to help grow her business as well. My suggestion is don't suffer. Like, don't suffer.
Don't suffer.
Please don't suffer right now. I mean, and when I say build a multi-million-dollar business, let's say you don't want to build a multi-million-dollar business, or you feel that you're not deserving to do that, or you don't want to. And you only want to have $50,000 or $100,000. Well, let's start with that.
Start with that. So take the fear. So maybe that's what we need to communicate, is to say to these authors, and like Tara, who was asking us about her book. Tara, what's stopping you from going to this event on the 1st and the 2nd? All right. So, what would get you to say yes to going to this event, finding your heaven on earth? Is there a fear perhaps that making $1 million is unattainable, or it's not possible? And so those are the kind of questions we want to ask the audience. So if you are watching the replay of the show, would you please put those kind of comments in for us? Sunil and his team, his staff will go back and look at the comments. I will keep an eye on it. My producer Michael and I'll keep an eye on it. And let's just have a look.
Said she's coming.
Yeah. She's coming.
Look.
Girl, way to go, darling. Way to go. I love it.
She doesn't want to suffer.
She doesn't want to suffer. Exactly. That's it. And maybe that is the message, is to say to people, stop suffering. There is a way to do it. There are teachers, mentors, programs out there that's going to take you and take your 200 and turn it into a multi-million-dollar business.
Exactly. And my point here is, whether that multi-million-dollar business takes you 6 months, a year, 5 years, that's not
doesn't matter.
The point here is, you've written a book. You're thinking about writing a book.
Yeah.
You got to be at the event that has never been put together ever. I've been in this business for almost 14 years after I left the police force, and I've done really well. And what you understand is that what I understood very quickly was, it's not writing the book that's the most important, although that's the starting point.
Yeah, that's the expression of yourself.
Yeah, that's the starting point. Yeah. But what if you wrote a book and nobody reads it?
Yeah, then you're in trouble. You wasted all that energy.
I want you to learn how to sell 5,000, 10,000 copies, even more copies like that. So then your message gets around and changes the world.
And this, I want to tell you what this Heaven on Earth colors means, Sunil. The violet on the top is that expression of yourself. It's that wanting to serve, wanting to make a difference in the world. It's service, right? Because it's kind of in your head. It's your heavenly body. The red at the bottom is about taking action to make it happen. If you don't take action, you can't just be sitting and watching a show like this and going, I've sold 200 books and maybe I'll change it one day and I'm going to suffer a little bit more. It's okay. I'll wait for another event. There isn't another event coming. You've just heard Sunil say he doesn't want to make another event. This is the one you have to come to. So the red says take action. And if you do that, you take that service energy you have and things begin to happen. And it comes back to this initiation. You've got to make a choice. Are you ready to stop the suffering? Are you ready to stop the struggle and open up to support and open up to systems and advice from people like Sunil and all the amazing speakers that he's going to have share their successes on stage? on the 1st and the 2nd of June.
I mean, how often do we get to see 3 legends in one event, right? I mean, they are coming by video or Zoom call, but they're spending their time because I'm leveraging my relationship with them. I'm asking them to do me a favor to help out the audience, and they're going to come in and they're there to give. And these are legends in the books.
But there's also something else here that I know when I go to events, and whether the speakers are live or on a link, it doesn't matter. It's that group that gets together, that energy, because you're all in it. You all have a common problem. You all have the same problem. You've only sold 200 books, or you're only fearing you're only going to sell 200 books if you haven't finished writing. So gather together in a group, go to this event, and
figure out how you can sell me 10,000 copies of your book or 500 copies of your book. The only way to do that is to get to know each other. I mean, that's the whole thing.
I'm going to be turning Sunil into my center of influence. Watch.
Well, the truth is that there are things that I cannot write about, and there are things that I don't want to be writing every book. So if I have a need, or I have, let's say, hundreds of clients, and you have a good book, it makes sense for me to buy your book and then give it to those people so I can change their lives.
I will be handing Sunil a signed copy of my book today.
I would love to have that. I would love to have that book.
So Sunil, we're gonna go to the audience now, and we're gonna have a look at people who've picked number 1, number 2, or number 3. If you haven't quite picked, you've got a few seconds left. Feel which one. Quickly pop it in the comments box, and I'm going to tell you what your color message is for the week. So first of all, those of you who picked number 1, you have picked our fabulous guest Sunil's pick, and he has picked bottle number 34. Isn't that delicious?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, so there you've got that indigo sitting there and blue turquoise. So 34 is called the whale bottle.
Okay.
And this is a bottle, for those of you who've picked number 1, the difficult times are at an end completely.
Stop suffering.
You've done it, yes. It's freeze frame, note box, put this date in your diary. This is saying that all the struggle you've had to find yourself, to find your purpose, to find a way forward, to feel as if you can make a difference by being who you are and doing what you do, the struggle's over. The emotional, because turquoise is all about emotions and water and swimming, and it opens you up to higher consciousness. We talk about whales and dolphins as having a consciousness as well. Animals have a consciousness. Humans have a consciousness. So this one says opening up to ancient knowledge and consciousness. Getting a bit spiritual on you here, Sunil.
Sure.
But this really is about expanding your mind. So I want you to think about in this week, if there are opportunities coming up for you that is going to make you go beyond your normal borders, beyond your comfort zone, please say yes and turn up, because it's going to be very important for you. Okay, it's going to take you, and it's like riding a wave. But you know, you're on a surfboard, you ride a wave, you don't know what beach you're going to land on, but you ride the wave anyway. Just ride the wave, catch the wave, get on that surfboard, ride it. You're going to land somewhere fabulous.
I love these comments that I see over there. Amazing.
Fabulous.
Especially Stacy and Juliet and a few other people there. Kim.
Fantastic.
Kim just joined us.
Yeah, that's my sister.
Really? Hi,
yeah,
Kim.
Kimmy. She's in Botswana. Hello, darling. You want to go back and watch this one from the beginning. It's a goodie. And those of you who've picked number 2, you have picked Michael, our producer's pick of the week. And Tara, I noticed that you picked number 2. It is number G19, and it's platinum. You can have a look there. It's like a solid platinum and like a pale platinum at the bottom there. And it's called Om. Now, you know how the Buddhist monks chant Om, and that gets them in touch with their godliness and their spirituality. Yes. So for those of you who pick number 2, this is a really good week to do the Om. And it really is a sound, and you can Google it and you can get that vibration of the monks actually chanting the Om. It feels like sound therapy is going to be amazing for those of you who've picked number 2 this week. Listen to music, dance, chant, do some sound meditations or meditations to sound. That is going to realign your thoughts with your purpose so that you can take some action in the coming weeks.
Check out Melissa.
Oh heavens, I might be in Canada a lot earlier than I thought.
We'd love to have you, Melissa.
Melissa, we've just been chatting to Melissa this morning, where she's also written her book, the Color Mirrors book.
What's her name of the book?
It's Color Mirrors.
Oh, Color Mirrors, okay.
Yeah, and she's actually going to be coming in with her co-author, Karani.
Okay.
And we're doing a book launch in November. We're doing a big party, but we're still chatting about dates and finalizing everything. But it's going to happen, team. whenever Melissa comes out, we are sold out events. It's amazing. She's an amazing teacher.
Melissa, come early. Yes, June 1st, June 2nd.
Okay, those of you who picked number 3, you've picked my pick of the week, and I couldn't resist it because it was the colors, this kind of violet-y, pinky thing I was wearing, and it's the violet, pinky, love bottle in color mirrors. This is lovely because we normally talk about the heart being a green color, and green is always a color that people wear when they go to war, you know, when they want things, or they have, or they set themselves up to have set competition and ownership and contracts, and I own you, and you know, it's a very old way of how we work with our heart energy, love. This is the new way. The new way is unconditional love and some of your spirit coming through your heart, and that's literally what this bottle means. Your spirit coming through your heart. So it means forgiveness of the past, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of yourself, and allowing yourself to use the energy of love. And you know, I always talk about the law of attraction and colors. Pink is the color of love and money. Using your love energy to also attract more money. Yes. So if you're going to go to Sunil's event, you're actually saying you love yourself. That's what you're doing. You're saying to the universe, yes, I'm investing in myself going to these events, but you're actually making a statement to the universe saying, I love myself enough to do this. And that's really what I want to say to those of you who've picked number 3. Love yourself enough this week so that you put down that intention to attract more wealth towards you. You and I were chatting a little bit earlier. I have a Love and Money boot camp, and
I love the name, by the way, Love and Money boot camp. Isn't that amazing?
I've been teaching them since 2012, and mentoring programs, and I have an explanation of what I define wealth as, and I call it's a wheel of fortune, and it's an equal balance of love, money, and joy.
I love it.
The money is the value.
Yes,
and you've got to have that imbalance, and actually the strongest part of the wheel is joy. If you're not having fun and you're not having joy, then the love and the money doesn't work.
Exactly, and you know, and the wealth itself used to be when somebody said 100 years ago he's wealthy, it just meant they have money. But today wealth is defined
defined differently. It says that somebody who's happy, they created their wealth doing what they love, they've shared it with others, they've become philanthropists in the future.
Well, one of the things we talk about is what's wealth in this Secret to Wealth book.
In the Secret to Wealth book.
What is wealth to you? Like, you know, I mean, what is it that you do? And I define wealth where you put the word and all the time. And meaning I want love and money. I want love, money, and health. I want love, money, health, and joy. You know, so and rather than or.
That's
you know?
Right.
It's
I manifest as I say, oh God, I'd love this and more, please.
Yes.
I kind of just leave this little trail of open to anything else coming in. So and more. So that's what my students here learn from me. Sunil, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been fabulous.
Thank you for everybody for showing up and your comments.
Stop suffering and get your heaven on earth and go to Sunil's event on the 1st and the 2nd of June. Tickets will be put into the comments box. Share to win the fabulous prizes.
Thank you. And please enjoy the books and the gifts. And if you want the books or the audiobook, please put it in that you want it. And share, send some love, hearts, and all the stuff that you can do to spread the love on internet, on Facebook. And then thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for all of you for being there and putting your comments. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you at the event June 1st, June 2nd in Toronto.
Lovely, darlings. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, audience. We love you. We see you next week, Monday.
Yes. Thank you.
Fabulous.
That's awesome.